What's going on, family? It's your boy DeAndre Saxon back for another video. If you think less, you're gonna vibrate more. Within your mind right now lies a very powerful force in your subconscious mind, and it's called your self-image. It controls what comes into your life and what comes out to your life. It controls what magnifies in your life. And sometimes we're overthinking. In this video, you'll know exactly the two parts of your self-image that's controlling everything. Maybe things are coming into your life, money's coming in, but it goes right back out. Or you've been trying to go to the next level in your business or your life, and things are getting stuck or they're inconsistent. It's because there's a hidden layer that you haven't been tapping into. But once you learn this, it's going to unlock the floodgates of abundance and whatever you define as success. So what is this? It's called a self-image. As you guys know, I studied with Bob Proctor, and a self-image is something that lies within your subconscious mind. So you've heard me talk about this before. We have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body. The conscious mind, that's your thinking mind. That's your intellectual mind. That's the mind we went to school with to gather information. It's our mind that we use to think. It can accept ideas and also reject ideas. So we're actually going to be using that part of the mind because even though it controls 5% of our results, we need that part of our mind to construct the new imagination of the new life we're going to build, right? So then we have the subconscious mind. That's your emotional mind. It can only express whatever's impressed upon it, meaning it cannot reject any ideas that you pass upon it. But the real question is, how do you actually pass that new version, that new manifestation, that new car that you want, that $100,000 month, that 7-figure business, whatever it is that you want? How do you take that image and actually pass it to the subconscious mind? And that's been the biggest misconception that's been passed around, especially with TikTok culture and Instagram culture. People think they're gurus and stuff, right? But there's actual real scientific methods that you can pass that conscious image of that manifestation to your subconscious mind. And so then we have the physical body here. This thing that we have here is just an instrument. It can only do what's impressed upon it. So if you want to go to the gym, you'll never go to the gym if you don't identify as a person that goes to the gym, right? So let's actually get into a little bit deeper of this subconscious mind. So within that subconscious mind, there's something called a paradigm. A paradigm is a multitude of your habits. Think of it as your mental conditioning or your mental programming. And so it's just a big heap and soup of all the habits, the time you wake up, if you have vices, if you're drinking alcohol, when you're starting to getting emotionally detached from a person, maybe you go binge eat or go out and self-sabotage, right? There's a huge culmination of different things that start to happen that's in this subconscious mind of yours. So one of those things is called a self-image, okay? So the self-image has two parts to it. Self-image is basically the governing body of what comes into your life. You have an inner image and an outer image. And here's the best way to explain it. The outer image, that's how you perceive on the outside world. I remember back when I was 21, 22 years old when I had first moved to Miami. If you would have met me, you would have thought I was a millionaire. I dressed nice. I had great energy. Everything was looking nice, but yet I was so broke during those periods of times because my outer world didn't actually reflect my inner world. For many of us, we feel like we're going to be a millionaire and we look the part. We might drive the car, have the house, but really what controls our life is that inner image. That self-image is the one that you actually can't see. It's the one you can only see in the mirror. And so that inner self-image, that's the one that magnifies what comes in out of our life. So if we want to change our life, it's not going to come from just saying affirmations and reading books and hiring coaches. What we have to do is change how you identify it with yourself. We got to change that inner self-image. So what we're going to check out here is the idea between two worlds, duality, incongruency and congruency. So what we're going to do is at this point, we want to get very clear on what exactly we want our dream life to look like. What kind of car do you want? Is it a Lamborghini? What color interior? Is it a roadster, convertible, hardtop? What spec? What kind of house do you want? What kind of car do you want? What kind of business do you want? Like, you have to get very clear on what exactly you want to do with your life, but not just the material things outside of you. That's where most people get stuck. You also have to write down exactly who you need to become in order for that to manifest, because you only have once you become. Once you become, then you have, or rather, once you become, then you do, then you have. So you can never have something that's outside of your self-image. You can never have something that's outside of the frequency in which you're operating on. It just makes sense. Everything that you have in your life right now is a direct reflection of how you see yourself, because you're doing the actions of that person, because that's how you see yourself in that subconscious mind. And so you're going to have and attract the things that person has. You following me here? So let's get back into this. So we have two images here. We have our ideal self-image, and we have our current self-image. So what we have here is incongruency, and this is where I found to be that most people get stuck, and this is where I was stuck for so many years. Incongruency is when your current self-image and your ideal self-image, that vision of who we want to be, are not in alignment. And whenever you're out of alignment, you can never manifest the things that you want. You'll never attract those huge opportunities. If you're watching me for the first time, I literally went 0 to 100,000 a month in 45 days, when the most I had ever earned before that was like $5,000 a month. I would used to average 1,000 to 2,000 a month. So how do I go from that to 6-figure months and in less than 45 days? It wasn't that I was working harder, I gathered more information, I wasn't reading any books. What had happened was there was alignment between my future self and who I wanted to be, and who I was in my new self-image. And so that congruency, what it does is opens up the channel of God's flow to you. So where most people are stuck at is this incongruency. And a lot of it comes down to what I talk about is those daily habits. Most men, because I usually talk to men, most men don't keep their word to themselves. They say they're going to go to the gym and then they stop. They say they're going to wake up early and then they don't. They say they're going to stop the vices, but then they don't. And so what happens is you start breaking those contracts with yourself, and you don't have confidence because you have no idea how important it is to say you're going to do something and then actually do it. Imagine you're doing business with somebody, right? And they have to make monthly payments, or you're fronting them something. If they continue to make their payments on time, if not pay early or pay in advance, do you have more confidence with that person? The answer is yes. You're going to want to do more business with them, front them more money, loan them more money, whatever this is. So it goes the same way with yourself. You'll do that with another person, but if somebody kept faulting on their payments and not showing up, you wouldn't trust that person. It works the same way when you say you're going to wake up and you don't do it. You say you're going to stop doing that bad habit and you continue to do it. You stop having trust with yourself. And so how can you do business with somebody you don't trust? And that's why when you go out there and you attack the world, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so it's now you start to show up in a different way out of congruency. You're working harder, you're gathering more knowledge, and it's like you're going to the next level, but things are not coming together. Well, why? It's because no matter how hard you work, if you're incongruent with your future self and then your current self-image, nothing will start to shift. So what we have here is a discrepancy between current self-image and your future self-image. Okay, so what we need to do, and what I'm encouraging you to do, is start moving into the right section here, which is congruency, where your current self-image, which is who you want to be and who you're acting like today, and your future image are aligned now. And you have to maintain that vision, because that's one of the hardest parts. You can do it. Most people can do it for 3 days. They wake up early for a couple of days. But what we have to do is stop going back to the actions part. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go watch my past videos where I really dive into this stuff. It's not the actions. Remember, this body here, it just follows. So if you try to act your way into a new identity, if you try to act your way to waking up, it's not going to work. Is that the initial thing that will start you? Like, obviously you're like, okay, let me get up in the morning, right? But before that, you have to shift your identity as somebody who actually wakes up early. Are you following me here? This is deep stuff here. This is not some TikTok information. This is stuff that you actually have to get down deep, that there's an embodiment, there's an identity. So I'll give you an example for myself. So I've been waking up early at 6 a.m. every single day for the past almost 2 months now, ever since I hired Wes Watson. And so what started happening was, at first I hired him, and it took me a couple of days because I was forcing my body because I wasn't used to getting up early. Okay. But then now at this point, almost 2 months in, it's an identity. I need it. I need that sense of like stability, that I'm going to do exactly what I say I'm going to do. Because what started to shift was an action. I was starting with action, like let me actually wake up and force myself to get up. But now it's like I identify as somebody who gets up early. So because I identify as that, I naturally go to bed early and I naturally get up and I don't hit the snooze alarm, because I identify that at a self-image level versus forcing it and saying I'm going to do this, and then after a couple days I give up on it. Is that making sense? Well, the longer you do that, in all different areas of your life, in all the different vices, maybe there's 4 to 5 things that you need to do every single day, that if you were to nail these things, you will start to be congruent with that future self-image. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what are those actions? And that is the question that we have to get clear on. That's the true question. Who would that future version of yourself actually look like, act like? What are some of the habits that they would have? Maybe in the next video, I can help you guys organize what that would look like, but that's the key right there. Who would that person act like? Because then you would say, well, if my future version of myself wakes up at 5 a.m., he hits the gym, he cuts out chasing girls, and he's not drinking alcohol, and then you know that, you feel it in your heart. Nobody's got to tell you these things. And then you go and you consciously act outside of that. You're consciously acting in an incongruent way. So of course the quantum leaps are not going to happen. Of course you're going to magnetize things that you don't want. What we have to do is you take that image and you have to discipline yourself. At first, it might take you 3 to 5 days to really get in there, but then you have to shift that identity. Once you can get that future version of yourself, that future identity, that future self-image, and then mix it with today's image and start to act like that person now, that's when you're going to start seeing changes in the subconscious mind. So this is the thing that's the hidden secret. You don't need to think anymore. You'll start to vibrate at a higher level once you take that self-image and you plant it into the subconscious mind. That's the key there. In the next videos, I'll show you exactly how you can actually open up the subconscious mind, because it's not just affirmations, it's not just writing your goal down. There's actually scientific ways in which you can open up the subconscious mind, take this new self-image, plant it into the subconscious mind with feeling, and you'll start to operate on an unconscious level and vibrate in ways that you've never even done. It's going to be like you magnetizing. The answers are going to come, the downloads are going to come, and you're going to see quantum leaps not only in your business, but in your personal life and how you feel about yourself, and that's when you're going to start to see the abundance flood into your life. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe below if you like content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.